Welcome to the Metal Robot Reviews channel. I'm your host, Tom McKay. In times like these, it's always refreshing to know that bands can still start up. Because even though you couldn't have picked a worse possible time to do so, it's always still nice to have hope. With that in mind, Die Another Day is a new band from Calgary, Alberta, who, after starting literally last spring, a year later is now ready to release some new music, and this time in the form of Wildfire, their debut EP with 6 tracks and 21 minutes of melodic metalcore. And 21 minutes, given the fact that everyone is stuck at home, is not really much of an undertaking, and you can be sure to pass that on to your significant other who doesn't buy the idea of that lasting that long. Talking about the new record with Asher Media, bassist Tyler Johansson said, "We wanted to share with the world our more aggressive, hard-hitting side of our music. This is an EP that means the world to us, as it touches on so many personal notes, as well as being our first full outing as a band, so we really wanted to come out swinging with this one." Well, with their debut EP said to be for fans of Atreyu, A Day to Remember, Thrice, and Avenged Sevenfold, this band has a lot to live up to meet those measures. So, does Wildfire do that for this band? Well, let's not waste much more time. Let's get straight into it. And we are starting the first level of Uncharted 5. How is Nathan still getting into shit? I don't know, man. Most non-essential workers are trying to figure that out right now. Is that a glockenspiel in the background? So brutal.
What are they talking about?
They're writing a porno about fire.
Oh, okay.
Say what you want about metalcore, but when done right, they can be real blunt with their lyrics. Okay, I like this. It's something new to stop it from getting monotonous. I like it. Yeah, this is very metalcore.
Seriously?
What the hell?
Come on, this breakdown couldn't be more emo metalcore than if an Ask the Alexandria fan fucked to Bring Me the Horizon pillow while listening to that one breakdown that Miners made a meme.
Who the fuck are you?
Not important.
I see you went to the Avenged Sevenfold school of trying not to be the thing you're appropriating. Actually, no, it's funny. You're gonna love this. Our inactivity right now is actually having a different effect on global warming than expected. Who would have thought doing literally nothing was the first step? Oof. Oh, that unintentional vibrato. You couldn't have re-recorded that? Oof.
Oh, go figure.
Okay, you've got to stop doing that.
Well, I'll stop when you acknowledge that this is way too metalcore.
Yeah, or I can cram your ass into the dryer and turn it up to full.
Fair enough.
You sound like unnaturally bored for some reason. Oh, dude, either consider auto-tune or try not to sing out of your range. Oh, God. Ending this whole thing with a piano. Supposed to add sad boy feelings, but also just find a way to close out the record.
Well, August burns redhead.
Okay, that's
shit.
it. I swear, everybody's a critic. Overall, this EP was a lot of fun to listen to. The guitar riffs were fairly catchy on songs like the title track and Razor Blades, even on Fear the Future, where the riff may be suspiciously familiar, but I digress. Now, while the bass isn't really doing a lot of impressive tricks or anything like that, it is holding up the low end very nicely. It's more or less doing the bare minimum of what it's supposed to do, and the drums are doing a fantastic job as well, holding together the mosh pit like glue. If glue was aggressively mobile and like the idea of doing karate kicks for reasons that no one will ever know. I do, however, have a couple complaints that I want to address here. The first of which, this guy. Because much like when Gene Simmons said, what we have created is perhaps the 4 most iconic faces on planet Earth, I unfortunately have to look at him and say, the dickhead has a point. While Die Another Day is taking in other influences for their sound, this is very much a metalcore record. I am not saying that's a bad thing by any means, as I am a fan of the genre, but I also have to acknowledge that this genre is a very polarizing genre for a lot of different metalheads. So I'm going to say this right out of the gate. If you think A Day to Remember is for scene-core whiners and Asking Alexandria fans are 12-year-old girls who think they're edgy, this is not going to be the album for you. I promise you that right out of the gate. But the real complaint I have isn't really with what genre does it slot into. It's more of a fundamental problem within the album. The vocals. Not the screams, mind. The screams are really actually very solid and can speed the heartbeats of anybody within an earshot. It's more with the cleans, in that it's weak. Now granted, when there's heavily distorted instruments below you, you usually don't want to try and outmatch it or stay on the same level. It's a balancing act, but in this case, it's more of a matter of our vocalist is performance shy within the studio. And what's worse is these guys didn't decide to try and correct that in post. Now look, say what you want about post correction and auto-tune, but if you're going to be singing out of your range, like on, say, Poison 4, you should at the very least have that software on standby or try and write melodies that you can actually sing. I will say that it can be seen as a bit harsh for me to go this hard on a band who is literally just starting out, but the way I see it is this: if the flaws are not ironed out early, they are never going to get fixed, at least not until it's too late. This isn't so much a beat down on the idea of a new band, but it's more giving pointers to a band to possibly consider them going forward. Because when we get down to it, Die Another Day have a lot of promise that's put on full display on Wildfire. And yes, they have a lot of problems that they need to iron out, but with this album as a reference point, I can see these guys having a great future to look forward to. 12 out of 15, because despite what your local fire department will tell you, that is probably the best way to not get coronavirus, because everybody knows the best medicine is being dead already. Thanks so much for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the mosh pit next time. Have a good night.